Hello, my name is Kelly Mitchell and welcome to my channel of Kelly Universal Healing. I am a early childhood educator first and foremost. I have been doing that for the last 8 years of my life. And for the last 3 years, I have been introducing astrology, crystal healing, and card readings into my life as well, and doing that for other people. What always really resonated with me is using astrology in my work with children. And right now, this is connecting with that child's sun sign and how can I help them and how can I connect with them in that way. This is also, what phase is the moon in, what sign is the moon in, what sign is the sun in, and how these influences are really impacting our children day to day, and what can I do as an educator to support children and parents through these transitions. One of the big things that has come up recently for me, of course, with everything that's been going on with the world, is now everybody's going back to school. I thought this would be a fantastic time to start a back to school horoscope. So this is going to be a horoscope for parents, teachers, and students, university students, high school students who are all going back to school. Just a brief bit about the first week, what we can expect going back in on Tuesday morning. I know it's Labor Day long weekend for us here in Canada, Labor Day long weekend in the US as well. So I do believe most of us will not be going back to work. Well, for me, it's work or school until Tuesday. So that's where I have started off with this. So let's start off with Tuesday. So on Tuesday, the week starts off with a moon in Taurus. And so having the moon in Taurus, we can really expect that children are going to want to do things their way. They're going to be very stubborn. It's not going to be very easy to get these children to come into the classroom. Drop-offs are probably not going to be very easy at school. Of course, this is going to vary upon every child, depending upon their sun sign, their moon sign, and every other aspect in their chart. But this is just taking a general look at what is happening right now and what we can maybe expect. So with Taurus, we know that Taurus is a very stubborn sign. They want to do things their way. So if you try to tell your child they have to go to school today and they don't want to, it's great if they do want to. If they don't want to and you're telling them that they have to, there's going to be a problem. You're going to want to avoid using that language of trying to tell them that they have to go to school. You'll want to reframe it in a way that the child feels like they have the choice. So a great thing to do is to say, we can leave now or we can leave in 5 minutes. Like a really either or choice, keeping it very, very simple and very easy. Of course, if you are a teacher, you can really try to work with children in that way where you're not being forceful on them. Of course, many children have not been in preschools. They haven't been in schools at all since March. And so this is a huge transition going back. There will be some backlash. There's going to be emotions. It's going to be very heightened. This moon in Taurus is going to make that even more so. And so as a teacher, just to be or an educator or like a preschool teacher, anything, whatever you might be, just to have that time, space, and patience. It would be probably a really great time to arrive to work a little bit early so that you can feel connected with your day, so that you feel prepared, that you feel grounded. Taurus is a very grounded energy. So go in, feel your day. Maybe you want to have a snack before the kids arrive and just settle in, feel grounded. You could imagine that there are roots coming from your feet and that you're ready to take on this day. Of course, if you are a university student, you might feel very different. You might feel very excited to go back. Hey, I haven't been at school for a long time. If you're a high school student, hey, I haven't been at school for a long time. And you might be really looking forward to going back. That being said, that there is going to be this stubborn Taurus energy around. Now, as we move forward into later in the day on Tuesday, we will see that the moon will actually go into Gemini. And Gemini is the most independent sign. So there will not be any telling people what to do, big or small. If you're a student, if you're a child, if you're a teacher, if you're a parent, if you are whatever you are, whoever you are, there's no telling people what to do. You cannot tell a Gemini what to do. They live by their own rules, and that's it. Especially if you have Gemini children, you will see this very, very clear, or no Geminis in your life. So, like I said, you don't want to try to force anybody to do anything. Even conversations with colleagues at work, for those of you who are just going back to work, you don't want to be forceful and saying like, oh, like if you're a manager, you have to do this, because they are not going to do it. They won't want to do it. They are going to feel very hesitant to want to do anything that you say, because for the simple matter of the fact that they are just being told to do that. Keeping that in mind, you can reframe your conversations around people. Also remember that Gemini is it's ruled by Mercury, right? So this is an educational sign where they want to know why. They want to know why things are going the way they are. So there could be a lot of questions that come from children to teachers, to parents. Why do we have to do these new rules? Why do we have to do these new regulations? Why do we have to wash our hands? Why are we doing things the way they are? You can expect a lot of this question as to why, and maybe even some challenging those beliefs. You know, if you're a teacher, you can expect some of that from parents. If you're a parent, you can expect some of that from teachers. But at the end of the day, the big thing here is that Gemini is all about community and communication. So if you are keeping that line of communication and community open, this is going to be so much better as we go into Tuesday. And this is just Tuesday, guys. So as you feel out Tuesday and you start to have these conversations with people, just try to build that community, because when you are building that community, there's much less tension. People are much more open. People want to hear what you have to say more. So this is going to be a really big thing. Try to build that community as much as you can on Tuesday. This is going to be also building the community amongst children within the classroom. A lot of children haven't had a lot of social interaction for a very long time. It's going to feel a little bit awkward and weird, especially because, you know, while Gemini is all about community, Gemini is also very independent. So how can you balance that? How can you create a community, but also create independence and individualization within the classroom, within schools, within early childhood education settings, at home, in all of these places? These are questions you're going to have to ask yourself, but they're also things that you have to just take into consideration. They're going to look very different for many different people, right? If you are somebody who is very close with the teacher, you've known them for many years, that relationship is going to look very different than if you've never met them before. The same thing is going to go with children in the classroom. Is this going to be a big reuniting party where all the kids are going to come back together? Hey, how's it going? Haven't seen you in so long. Or is this going to be introducing new faces? Either way, you will have to create that community so that we are all in this together. And we really are. That's what it is we are all in this together. There is no separateness. We're all heading forward into the fall, all together, all going back to work, all going back to school, teachers, parents, children, students, all of us. So we all have to work together to build this community. Now, we also have Venus in Leo, and that just moved in on Sunday or Monday, I do believe. So it will be there on Tuesday. That presence will be heavily there, and that is the energy of I want to play. That is the energy of the child. Leo represents the child, the playful energy, also leadership, also very strong-willed. So there's going to be a lot of that type of energy. The kids are not going to want to come back and do a bunch of work and sit down and do the thing. What they're going to want to do is they're going to want to play. If we know that they're going to want to play, then we can provide opportunities for that. We can make sure that there is less things on the shelf that might be too challenging, and more playful things that are out on the shelves. Of course, I'm an early childhood educator in a Montessori classroom, so my space probably looks a lot different than many other people's spaces, many other teachers' spaces. Of course, if you're a teacher, or sorry, I mean a parent, then you will want to introduce activities or bring out more activities that gives them the opportunity to play more so that day, to express their individuality. This is going to, well, it's not just this day, this is just the day where it kind of begins. This is how the year starts off. This is a very playful type of energy. So I believe that the children are going to be very excited to come back. I think that there will be some questioning as to why are these rules happening? Why do we need to do the things we do? But I do think overall it's going to be very well and the children will be happy. But keep in mind, if there's somebody who does not want to go to school, there will be that stubborn Taurus energy on Tuesday morning. So the year starts off with a little bit of this remnants from what has started in March with the shutdowns and everything like that. We have what we call a stellium, which is 3 or more planets in a sign, which is in Capricorn. So we have Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto all in there that have been basically the restructuring of our society. So this is creating new ways. So as we move forward into the school year, of course, we're going to see there's new ways of doing things. Things do not look the same as they did before. This is going to be different for everyone. And everybody's going to have their own preconceived ideas about this because it is opposing Neptune. So there is this idea of like, we all have our ideas as why is this happening and why are these regulations this way and whatnot. So this is going to be from students to children to parents to teachers. And again, this is why we need to keep those lines of communication open, the doors of communication open, be willing to hear what other people have to say. Like I said, Gemini is all about building that community. So on Tuesday, we will see that, this community aspect is extremely important to build that right off the bat so that you're not left questioning, what is this other person thinking? Am I being deceived? Do they have my best interest? There's parents sending their kids to school. They're wondering, is this the best choice? There's students who are going to university. Some of them are actually in class and they're wondering, is this the best choice? And then there's also, teachers who are going back to school wondering, is this the best choice? Am I being deceived? Am I doing the right thing? So keeping those lines of communication, doors of communication open are really wonderful. As we move into Wednesday, Mars is going to go retrograde. And so Mars is this planet of energy and action. And as that happens, there's going to be a lack of action. There will be this point of reassessing. Do I really want to do this? Do I, like after I've seen one day of sending my child to school, do I actually really want to send them? Do I want to keep sending them? As a teacher, I've been one day at school. Do I actually want to keep going? A child is going to feel that energy too. I've been here one day. Do I actually really want to keep going? We will still have the moon in Gemini, so that's a bit of a benefit so that we can continue building that community. But at the same time, there's going to be this energy of let me do it my way. You're going to have parents who want to send their children and having it their way. There's going to be teachers who want to have it their way and children who want to have it their way. Everybody wants to have it their way. There has to be communication so we can all meet in the middle. Yes, like I said, answering the questions, the why, creating that community, allowing those doors of communication to be open is going to be very beneficial. Now, as we move into Thursday, the energy is still a little bit dropping. We have this waning moon. So whenever we have a waning moon, we know like the peak of the energy hit as the full moon was there, and now the energy is going to start to drop. We have Mars retrograde. Mars is the planet of action, and so as it's retrograding, there's going to be a little bit less action. It's going to be a little bit not feeling as pushy. Now we have the moon squaring Neptune. So the children, I feel they'll feel particularly attached. The moon is a very sensitive sign. It is in relation to the mother, to security. So as it is squaring Neptune, they will feel like that they need to have that connection. There's going to be like this fantasy, like it might be like, I want to be elsewhere. I don't want to be at school. Or if you're a parent or a teacher, I don't want to be at work or something like this. You might be dreamy, thinking about elsewhere, not being very present. So, doing like present building activities will be really beneficial. Like, you can do yoga. Children can imagine there's roots growing out of their feet so that they're here. You can read stories. Again, continuing to build that connection and community, which is super important this week. As Friday rolls in, the moon is going to go into Cancer, and Cancer rules the home. It rules the nurturing. It is the ruler of the moon, so it's the ruler of the mother, of the memories. So it's like, go home and relax and nurture yourself, nurture your children, nurture your relationships with other people, and at work if you're a teacher, and nurture the children, especially. Like, really this week, to all my fellow teachers and educators, try to have like the most open heart and open mind that you can, because there's going to be a lot of parents who don't understand what's going on. There's going to be a lot of children who don't understand what's going on. And by Friday, it's going to kind of feel like that they just all want a big hug and want to go home. That's going to be the kind of the energy by the end of the day on Friday, which is okay, because it's Friday. And so relationships are going to be heightened that day. And, as we can build this community throughout the week, by Friday, we might feel like we want to create a space that feels like home. If you start the week like with Taurus, right? The moon in Taurus. Taurus is all about values, and Taurus always wants to have those things, the things that make the home beautiful and cozy and nice. So in the classroom, what can you do to make it more beautiful? What can you bring in that makes it feel homey? And with all of that, creates that community that we are seeking this week. So by Friday, we're going to be asking ourselves, what changes can be made so that we can be more comfortable? How can we make these changes going forward so that we can be more comfortable with all of these things to come? So welcome back. I know that many of you have had a lot of time off. I know myself, I have been off work for 6 months, and this is me going back to work. And I thought this would be a really wonderful thing to share with everybody. Like I said, I have been using this for many, many years now. When it's Mercury retrograde, that get some extra sleep that night. When it's a full moon, I'm pretty sure all teachers can agree that when it's a full moon, parents can agree there's some sort of weird phenomenon that happens. And it is more than just a weird phenomenon. It is astrology, and it impacts every one of us, including children. And so this is my gift to you, and I hope you all enjoy, and I will see you next week. Bye.